everybody, welcome back to my channel. Sorry it's been a little bit since I've posted. I just got over being really bad sick, so I am back. Today I have a guest on my channel. It's my beautiful mom, Teresa.
Hello.
She's here to talk to everybody about an experience she had, but a little bit a backstory about her. Do you want to go ahead and tell them a little bit about like your backstory with the paranormal and your book?
Okay. I'm Teresa Hill. I'm Brittany's mother. She is 1/3 of my team, paranormal team. Her and my oldest son, Joe, we do paranormal investigations together for about the last 10 years plus. I am an empath, sensitive, and I'm developing psychic powers, which Britt and I have a really close connection. She has the same gifts I do, but she can hear spirits and see them. I can sense them, and I can feel them, I can hear them, but I can't quite see as much as Britt can.
But you also have it to where, like, you can sense things. That's how you catch a lot of your photos.
Right. I'm drawn to a certain area. When I take, excuse me, my camera out, I just use a digital camera, my gifts from God, as well as a tape recorder. And I just go to a certain area with my daughter and son. We go in 3 different areas, however we're drawn to. We start snapping pictures. I take multiple at a time, and I am drawn to certain areas because I believe spirits are sensing they want to come to me and let me tell them about their story and what happened to them. Because a lot of people forget that spirits, there are good ones and there are bad ones, just like people are. People are good and they're bad. If you're good in this life, you'll be good in the next. If you're bad in this life, you're going to be a stinker in the next life. And I have thousands of pictures in my collection, and I am currently working on a book on the paranormal with, it has to do with all kinds of entities. I even have photographs such as the Holy Spirit, angels in flight, portals that open from one dimension to the other, as well as demons, their assistants, and I think one of them could have even been close to a Satan that I caught in a window. So I just have a wide variety, and I am currently getting out query letters to agents to see if they would like to take on my book as a project to handle and get it out to the people.
So can you remember whenever you first started having your gifts?
I think I started realizing it when I was a preteen. My sister Sharon is younger than I am, and my father, he has crossed over. At this time, he's been gone for a while, in fact, 20 plus years. And my gifts, I really started realizing them when we had a piece of rental property we were fixing up for people to rent. And my father, my sister, and I would be down in the basement. It was an old coal fired furnace. And my dad and my sister and I all heard a party going up right up on the first floor above us, and we were in the basement. Dad was going to check it out to see if anybody was there, if we were in any kind of danger. Dad had all his power tools in the basement. They were very expensive at the time. He would take his shoes off and he'd sneak up to the second flight from the top of the first floor and quiet down. Spirits, they were having a party. You could hear music going on and laughter. Sounded like they were dancing. As soon as Dad got there, quieted down. Same thing happened when we were on the second floor. Dad would sneak, when we were on the first floor, they were on the second floor, and Dad would sneak up again and got up to that floor. It would quiet down. The only thing Dad and Mom or any of us ever found was a very scared cat that got in there some way. We had no idea. We took him and turned him loose so he could go back home to where he belonged. So after a while, we just got used to the spirits being there, and we said, well, they're having parties and enjoying themselves. The only inkling as to what might have happened, there was a little old lady who passed away in the house. It could have been her spirit coming back with some friends to enjoy the home, because she must have loved it. So that is when I really realized I was having sensitive things going on, and we would have different things going on through the years, and my gifts developed more. At this time, Brittany and I are getting really close on our psychic abilities. And I can read people's minds to a degree, and I can feel if there's danger for them, and I try to warn people when people write me on Twitter. I have a Twitter account.
It's Classy Lady, at Classy Lady 2006.
Teresa Hill.
Teresa Hill.
Teresa
That's
Hill.
how you can find her.
Yes. And I have quite a few followers, which I value each and every one of my followers, and those who even take a look at my page. And I have a couple of my photographs posted there as well. I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. That happens sometimes.
I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. I'm very excited. This is my first taping, and Brittany was gracious enough to ask me to come and be a guest on her channel. I forgot where I was at. That's the thing.
The Spook House?
Oh, yes, the Spook House. We called it the Spook House because there were actually ghosts. They weren't harmful ghosts, they were just ghosts. So we went there, and a little later on down the road, Mom went in one day. She got to the house. Front door and back door were standing wide open. All the windows were unlocked and open in the house. But the thing of it is, if it would have been a human, they would have taken Dad's power tools out of the basement. So that was an inkling as to it wasn't human. It was a spirit-related type opening of the house. So Mom came very anxious. She had 6 of us she was raising. I'm the oldest of 6 kids. And so therefore, Mom locked up the house. She went home and told Dad, I'm selling that house. I don't want anything else to do with it. So that's the last of what we had with that. And over the years, my powers, my gifts from God, it all comes from God. The senses as to being an empath and a sensitive, as well as other people having the same gifts. They're all gifts from God. God wants us to be able to help each other and reach out to each other and give to each other. And I have had people that have written me on my Twitter site, and I try to get back with them and give them an idea how they can handle the problem they are having. So if anybody wants to write me, they're more than welcome to.
And then I'll go ahead and post a link as well in the description to her Twitter account. So you're working on a book. What got you interested in working on the book?
My photographs. I was picking up a lot of really great pictures, and my son mentioned it to me. He had been in the business of paranormal investigating by himself for around 1.5 years. So he said, Mom, you've got a lot of great pictures. Why don't you write a book? I said, oh, okay. He said, I'll do that. I'd be glad to help people. And it's just been building over the years.
So the one story that you really want to talk about is the afterlife of whenever you had my brother and you actually crossed over to the spiritual realm. You want to tell him a little bit about that?
Right. That was a very difficult time in my life because my oldest son, Joe, he was born, he had a little bit of jaundice because his father's blood was different than my blood. So therefore he was a little bit yellow in color. So they kept him a week after he was born. He had a little bit of yellowing and Bigfoot. It was so sad. My mom would take me up there every day to see him. I wore myself out is what I was doing, but I didn't care because that was my baby, my first child.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there. I was dedicated to my son. I wouldn't leave his side anymore, and I had to. So Joe got better. It was difficult also because he had an IV in his head as well as in his, the heel of his foot. So he was just in this little incubator here, and finally they released him about a week later. He was doing well, and when he went home, he was doing really well too. So I started feeling very feverish. Mom and Dad took my temperature. I believe it was around 105 degrees, maybe 106. It was extremely high. They took me by ambulance to St. Mary's Hospital here in our hometown. The doctor packed me down in ice and sat by my side 24 hours a day. And I don't know how long I was there at the time, but it seems like shortly after I was admitted, I could feel myself floating upwards, and going over to the right. And when I floated up to a certain point, I looked down and I saw my body packed in ice, and I saw the doctor sitting right by my bed. So I floated over for just a short amount of time. I don't believe there was a tunnel, but it was all bright lights. So therefore, I floated over, and I got to a certain point. I did not make it quite into heaven, but it was the most peaceful, wonderful, easy feeling, and I could feel angels and music and things around me. It was so calming. It's, oh my goodness. I wanted to stay, but I knew I couldn't. I told the angels, I said, I just had a little boy. I said, I'm needed home. I've got to go back to my son. So they said, all right. And they sent me back down to a certain point. I looked, I saw myself there again. I went into my body. And afterwards, the doctor told me, this is the only thing that verified that I wasn't just dreaming this. He said that I almost lost you a couple of times. So that told me yes. And back then, it was in August of 1977. You did not talk about that. It's not like it is nowadays, because back then you would have been admitted into a state hospital or something. People would have thought you were going crazy. But things have really changed in the paranormal field, and we're learning so much every day about what's going on between different dimensions and ourselves here on Earth.
So to anybody who doesn't believe in the paranormal, what would you tell them?
I would tell them you need to see if you could go on a Ghost Adventures trip with some group. They would be glad to take you along and show you what it's really like. You almost have to see it to believe it, because a lot of people are skeptics out there. And you should not be a skeptic, because it does exist. And like I said, there are good ghosts and there are bad ghosts, and then there are your demons and the really dark entities, and they will definitely hurt you, and they can kill you. They can possess you. They can take it on as an obsession, then a possession. Then they can enter your bodies. They can damage you inside. They can torment you. They can enter your dreams. They can attach to you. And they can eventually kill you, because a demon is out to destroy you and take your life. It's his ultimate goal. Take that soul down to hell, to Satan, his boss.
So when you say kill, do you want to tell them a little bit about the story of recently what happened to you when a demon threw you down and almost tried to kill you?
Yeah. This book that I've been working on for a wee bit of time.
If you don't want to tell them, and that's part of your book, you don't have to.
I can tell them.
But I didn't know if you wanted to or not.
Sure, I'd be glad to. This book, I have thousands and thousands of photographs of the paranormal plus. So I was putting all those pictures into my documents, as well as to a separate disk drive, so I could organize them and be able to retrieve those for my book when I got to that point. Well, my thumb drive was inside my computer. I looked at it one day and it was gone. I looked down, and on the little ledge right next to my hard drive, which is the memory and everything of the computer, the heart of it, it was laying next to it. When I picked it up, that part was in an L shape, metal. It had not been discharged inside. Normally how you get those out of your computer is to eject them.
Mm-hmm.
So, therefore, it was bent just like an L. I have pictures of it so I can post. Okay, that showed me that something did not want me doing this. I know God wants me to have it done, because I hear God and the angels speaking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they want me to get this book out to give people proof positive that there is a life after this.
And hope.
Right, and give them hope. Because hope is something that you've got to have nowadays. Because when you lose hope, you've lost everything. And so a few weeks later, I was home by myself. Brittany and Joe had left for a while. I was standing in the kitchen by our counter. It's a breakfast bar. I had my hands on it like this. And so all of a sudden I felt these long, scrawny fingers with long, thin nails, fingernails. And they put their hands on my shoulders and they were shoving me down. I went down to the floor. I said, okay, and I got right back up. They pushed me down again, and I got back up. It was a struggle. I don't know how many times they did that to me. So therefore, I got to think, now how am I going to get out of this? So what I did is I started praying. Prayer is your saving measure. When you're being tormented or anything, you need to pray. You need to rely on your health because you're up against something very powerful and very strong, especially when you get into the red-eyed demons. So therefore, it continued to push me down. I started praying the Our Father, the Hail Mary, Glory Be, and I said those a few times, and all of a sudden it released me, took off. I don't know where it went to in the house. It may have booked on outside the house. I have no idea. I was just glad it was over. It was a big old fight. So I was so wore out. I had to crawl over to the recliner and kind of lift myself into it. I was so tired. I was kind of resting when Britt and Joe got home. And when they got home, I told them, and I thought it was so amazing. But faith, prayer are your best defenses when you're being attacked. My last attack was a couple of weeks later.
That's the one I was talking about where you went to the hospital.
Right. Okay.
You don't have to give too much. If it's part of your book, you don't have to give it too much.
That's okay. I can put it in the book as well.
Okay.
I can tell these folks as well. That's okay, Britt. I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you. I was walking down the hallway toward our living room. We have about let's say about 3 foot opening. The hallway's about 3 foot
About
wide.
4 foot, 5 foot.
3 to 4, maybe 5 foot at the most. Anyway, I was
It's not huge and it's not tiny.
No, it's about average. Just a guesstimate. So, no, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
I was walking and Britt saw me. I was in the center. All of a sudden, I landed into the hallway with this shoulder. Then all of a sudden, I felt myself flying toward the planter across the hallway in the corner. Then, what it did, it took me and turned me around a huge shape, and I was thrown into the corner of a piece of furniture that we have.
It's like a wooden furnace space heater.
Right, it's for, you can plug it in if your furnace goes out, so you have some kind of heat. Therefore, when it threw me into that, I was thrown into it with such a force that before I hit the ground, I felt like it was going through my heart. It was right on the left side of where my heart is. So, therefore, it hurt me so bad.
We thought Coda Man tripped you, Coda, our little white dog, the little chihuahua. We thought Coda had tripped her because he came down at about the same time, but the way she landed was she zigzagged, and there's no possible way he could have thrown her down. Like, she went like this, like this, like this, like this, and she got thrown in all different directions. Yeah. So it was scary because I was home and saw it happen.
When I landed on the floor, I was screaming out in pain. I was hurting so bad. Brendan called the paramedics. They came out. I was rushed to the hospital, and they did a CAT scan and found out that my ribs 5 and 6 were broken. And I still have the lump on my chest from it.
In the area, your 5 and 6 are around this area.
And they were broken. And there was no way I could have went into it myself and just landed and broken my ribs. There was no way. I still have a lump there yet, a small one, where the piece of furniture went into me. And the demon, I know it was a demon, that's the only thing that could have been that strong. And I said, haha, I tried to kill you. I said, you ain't gonna do that to me. I said, you ain't gonna kill me and you're not gonna stop me. And I haven't had any more encounters like that.
Yep. But I wanted to go ahead and bring her on tonight. We may end up doing some future videos of ghost stories. So like this video if you do like this. Thank you for coming on my channel, Mom.
Welcome.
So go ahead and like this, and if you could like and subscribe to my channel, that would mean the world to me. This is my mom. I'll post her Twitter account down below so you guys can go follow her. If you could do that, that would mean the world to me. And if you like these kind of videos, make sure you sub and like the video. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good evening. Bye.
Thank you for having me, Brittany. It's been a joy talking with all of you.
You're welcome, Mom. And everybody have a good evening. Bye.